Did you know that renting San Francisco City Hall for a full wedding day starts at $12,000 for the venue rental, but in reality, most couples end up spending $115,000 to $200,000 all in. When you go on San Francisco City Hall's official information page for venue rental prices, it looks like this, and it will tell you the price for what it calls the evening and weekend option, which has recently increased from $12,000 up from $10,000. However, there are a lot of extra fees on top of this for two reasons. The first is that it's a city-run building. There are charges that you wouldn't pay with a private venue. Since there's limited public information released by City Hall about the actual dollar amounts involved of all those extra fees, we have to do a little extra digging. First of all, the City Hall website states that security costs for evening weddings can range from $5,000 to $7,000. This email from the events team to a planner notes that the sheriff's fee estimate is between $6,000 and $9,000, and this aligns with a Reddit post from before the price increase, which puts the sheriff fee at $7,000. There are also extra fees, including a processing fee of $500 and a $500 fee for using the building's power. As prices have gone up since the time of both the Reddit post and the email, I'd expect all the fees to be higher now, and I understand are customized for each wedding. There's also mention of labor, insurance, equipment charges on the public pricing page, so I'd expect to budget extra for that. The second reason you can expect to pay a lot more for a full day wedding at San Francisco City Hall is this. You can only use approved vendors for certain categories like your caterer, rentals, florals, AV, though not photographer, videographer, or officiant. You can bring in whoever you want for those. The point is, the only options you're allowed to choose from for those big ticket vendors like caterers are, of course, not the most affordable ones. They are much higher priced than average wedding vendors, and you are at their mercy when it comes to pricing your event. Therefore, I think it's worth looking at the total wedding cost, like the budget that you would need to allot for this to even make sense for you, rather than solely the cost to rent the space. In this post, someone asked if you could have a City Hall evening full day buyout for less than $50,000. The responses are worth noting, as they are from people who actually went this route themselves. Spoiler, the answer is most definitely not. You cannot really do this for under $50,000, and the actual figures that people have spent on their full day wedding range from $115,000 on the lower side to $280,000 on the higher side. There was this one commenter that mentioned that their full wedding cost was $280,000 for their reception only at City Hall. This was after they had a ceremony at a church elsewhere, offered some really valuable insights. They said you have to use approved vendors, which can be pricey and add up. Our rentals were significant, as you have to bring everything in: tables, tableware, linens, chairs, stage, lounge seating, bars, which were around $28,000 for the rental cost. They also said that covering the rugs in the North Light Court would have cost an extra $8,000, and the cost for uplighting the rotunda and lighting the stage and North Light Court for dancing would have cost another $12,000. The other cost breakdowns that they shared was that they went through two planners and ended up paying $27,000 total in planner fees. Then they had a shuttle service from the hotel to the ceremony, then to City Hall back to the hotel, which came in at another $9,000. Another commenter spent $150,000 on their wedding, with $40,000 being spent on catering alone. They mentioned it's a difficult situation the caterer has to deal with, as there's no commercial kitchen on site, so everything has to be cooked within the loading dock outside. Obviously, hugely challenging, and it comes with a price tag to match. They ended up spending around $35,000 for their rentals, which is even more than the last commenter, and they said they didn't go overboard, so this is about average. Finally, another commenter mentions that these full-day evening weddings at San Francisco City Hall are luxury weddings falling in the $200,000 and above range. Because if you're already spending so much on a venue, you aren't going to skimp on flowers or have a cheap photographer or have nowhere for guests to sit and lounge. The budget has to match the kind of experience that this space affords. Now let's talk about the timing of the event. Evening events start after the building closes and run until midnight, with loadout needing to be complete by 2 a.m. You can't rent City Hall for a daytime wedding. This full day option is a weekday evening option, actually, excluding Tuesdays. Load-in begins at 4 p.m. as the building remains open to the public until the late evening. Areas can be privatized for special event usage during those hours, but it isn't exactly an early start to your day or a fully daytime wedding. For Saturdays, City Hall already runs 2 morning ceremony slots, usually at 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. So if you're booking the full day option, your event can't begin until the final ceremony wraps. Sundays aren't publicly listed, so you'll want to confirm with the events team if that's even possible, and I have a feeling that it's not. So that means you can't have a daytime wedding. The full day option is actually more of a nighttime event. What that also means is no natural daylight in your wedding photos. Every image will be taken under artificial lighting. That's not necessarily bad, but it does look very different from most of the City Hall photos that you'll see online, which are almost always taken before 4 p.m. with tons of natural light pouring in. So lighting your event becomes extra important, especially in the darker months when it's fully dark outside before your wedding even begins. There are also a lot of rules to follow if you go this route, and it's one of those situations that you cannot navigate without a full service planner. It's not just any old venue that you can DIY in any way whatsoever. So even though the site says $12,000 being the rental fee, the reality is that you'll need at least $115,000 just to pull this off, with most couples spending much closer to $150,000 to $200,000 and beyond.